This doll's terminally ill. What do I mean by this? Well, exactly that. This doll has caught sad doll disease, a disease that will end its life. It caught this disease from another doll, meaning that right now there's a global pandemic affecting all antique plastic dolls. It all started when museum staff walked past their cabinet and saw that one of their dolls was crying. They were crying red, brown tears that stunk of vinegar. When they walked past the cabinet again, it wasn't just one doll that was crying, but all of them. By the end of that month, every doll had shown signs of blistering, cracking and breaking that put it beyond repair, and they all perished. More museums and collectors started to report the exact same phenomenon, cementing the idea that these dolls were getting sick, and those that caught the disease wouldn't live to see the other side of it. But there is a place they can go to be treated if it's caught early enough. I went to visit Leith Toy Hospital, where these dolls were being treated. Toy hospitals used to be a really big thing in the early 1900s, but now this specialist group are one of the last ones left, and they may just be some of the only people on the planet that can claim they could save a doll's life.
So these are pedigree dolls, which is a brand of doll that were mainly made kind of from the 1950s, and their plastic unfortunately starts to degrade, and as it degrades it starts to release acetic acid, which is vinegar, and then it interacts with the metal. So there's metal blink mechanisms in these. I don't know if she'll blink actually because she is so warped. Yeah, there you go. So all that's metal. So what happens is they start to shrink and shrivel. So both of these are doll heads that have kind of been through this process. You want to be careful with dolls like these. You won't want to keep these in a sealed box with other pedigree dolls because they can then set the chain reaction off.
So it's like a disease?
Yeah, that's why they do call it sad doll disease, because although it's not a bacteria or a virus, in proximity due to kind of the gases they release and what they do release from the plastic, it can set other dolls off.
But how did this process actually start? Well, 3 researchers from Bradford University had the same question. When a local collector brought in a sick toy for them to look at, it started them on a trail of research that would lead them to the answer. This story starts with World War II. So in the late 40s and 50s, there was an adoption of new materials, like plastics and resins. These were cheaper, they were easier to make and easier to mass produce, meaning it was a perfect replacement for the materials we used to make toys. But because this was a relatively new procedure, we were actually really bad at making it. A lot of the acidic materials from the polymerization process were actually left within the plastic itself, creating a ticking time bomb. So he found that these contaminants, especially within the plastics, reacted weirdly with the iron fittings. This started to decompose, and when they did, that created iron salts, which in turn made the polymer deteriorate even faster, which in turn created more iron salts. They essentially built a nuclear reactor of decomposition in every single doll they produced. But how were we to know? It was the first time. So that then produced even more acetic acid, which in turn provided more iron salts. This is the process that caused the thick brown liquids to come from the doll's eyes and its condition to rapidly worsen. He found out it was contagious because this vinegar vapor would penetrate the other doll's plastic and cause their iron fixings to rot as well. See, every time a doll made another doll sick, it got sicker itself as the amount of gas doubled, and before you know it, an entire collection could be laid to waste in just a matter of days. Their research showed that only a very small amount of iron could cause a very large amount of destructive power, all thanks to us manufacturing plastic blindly. But even if you cleaned the dolls or managed to get rid of the iron fixings, it would still happen because the polymer itself was acidic. We literally built dolls born to die.
Other things can also make it worse. So we think actually this was started from the glue that was used to glue this wig on, because the rest of the body, although it's got kind of warping and shrinkage, this is just so bad. Like you can see, it's just bits of peeling off it. We don't think it's any point in repairing it, because you're putting something on a really unstable surface, because this will continue to shrink, it will continue to break down. So our repairs won't last very long. So in these cases, we actually said, you know what, we have quite a few donation dolls with, they might have their legs broken, but you know, their heads are fine, so we can repurpose them. So actually both of these dolls, they had their bodies repaired, but their heads replaced. It's one of the few things that we can't do much, because it will just continue to happen. And that's obviously quite sad to tell people, like, I'm really sorry, but your doll's got, and you never think your doll would have a disease, but you're going, I'm really sorry, but this is happening. And so with customers like these, they are very aware that their doll will continue to degrade, but the fact that we've cleaned them and got rid of kind of all the rust and things means that we have slowed down the process. We can't stop it, unfortunately, but we have slowed it down.
So now you know the strange story of one of the weirdest diseases in the world, a disease that can only affect inanimate objects. And if you have a family doll that's looking more eerily and creepily sick by the day, you know the name of this disease and how quick you need to act for even the slightest chance of saving the doll. Remember, it's not if they get sick, but when. It is only a matter of time.